This video is an introduction to the third book that I'm writing, which is called the Ontology Dialogues. And what that book is all of the members that I included in the Glass Bead Game, my second book, have a dialogue on various topics, all of the uh, greatest topics in the universe, such as whether God exists and what is eternity and heaven and hell and why does evil exist, and all of these greatest questions that the greatest minds have contemplated. In this book, all of these characters have a dialogue. And what's so awesome about this book is that I get to become these characters. So I'm in the book. I'm collaborating with my son, Tony Magna. He's in the book. And then we get to be these other characters and have these discussions as if we are these other people. So it's really an awesome concept. I kind of got this idea from Douglas Hofstadter's I Am a Strange Loop, in which Achilles had a discussion with the tortoise. I expanded on this to include at least 50 characters in my book, and I think it's even better than his, oddly enough. He won the Nobel Prize for Gödel, Escher, Bach, and in reading his and reading ours, I actually think our book is better because it has more characters, more dynamics to it, and takes up bigger questions in our book. So this one will probably be done by the end of October and be published. But it's just been awesome. I'll read some of it now so that you can get a feel for this. This book is a magical reality in which all of the greatest thinkers in history of the world have a discussion on some of the greatest topics. It is a real place with real characters discussing these issues in real time. They are located in the Glass Bead Game at the house on the hill. And the first chapter is on the mind, and Mark Magna asks the question, what is all this talk about the mind and its special significance in the universe? Can someone tell me what the mind even is? Rene Descartes responds, I believe in a dualism between mind and matter. Matter is that which has extension, is infinitely divisible, and is limited. The mind has no extension, is not divisible, and is unlimited. The mind is the soul of the self, which is eternal. John Cyril jumps in. The mind doesn't have any extension. If the mind doesn't have any extension, how does it affect matter, which does have extension? Rene Descartes. That is certainly one of the great mysteries of the universe. Since matter has a limited existence and can perish, we know that it is different from the soul and the mind, which cannot perish. John Cyril. That still doesn't answer the question of how something that has no extension, basically a nothing, according to your definition, can affect a something. In our cause and effect universe, isn't it a something that can have an effect on another something? Rene Descartes. The mind and the soul are a something, but they just don't have an extension in the traditional sense of the word. John Cyril. How do you know this? It has to be that way, since we know the mind is different from the body, and the body ultimately perishes. John Cyril. Isn't it possible to say that the mind is just like the body, in that it consists of brain waves, the same way that all matter has a wave-particle duality to it? Rene Descartes. No, it can't be that way, since we know the soul is eternal. John Cyril. How do you know that? It has to be, otherwise there would be no purpose to the universe if we just perish and die at the end of our life. John Cyril. Well, maybe that is just how the universe is set up, without a purpose. Rene Descartes. That doesn't make any sense. Why would God create a universe without a purpose? Ayn Rand jumps in. You guys are arguing about unprovable things. Who said God exists to even give the universe purpose? Rene Descartes. You don't believe in God? Ayn Rand. Of course not. Why would I waste time believing in something that I can't prove? Rene Descartes. That is just one of those things that you just have to do based on faith. Ayn Rand. I don't believe in anything that isn't real and provable. I don't rely on faith. That just sounds insane to me. Rene Descartes. Well, what do you think the mind and the soul are then? Ayn Rand. First of all, there is no soul. Second of all, the mind dies with the body just the same as everything else does. Rene Descartes. That's kind of depressing, don't you think? Ayn Rand. Not really. It's just the way it is, so you need to accept it. Rene Descartes. So you think the mind is made of material the same as the body? Ayn Rand. Not entirely, since it seems to be out there somewhere, but we know that no one ever survives death. Otherwise, we'd be able to communicate with them. Bryce DeWitt jumps in. What if the mind survives in some sort of alternative reality? Ayn Rand. That's all fine and good, but it doesn't have any bearing on my existence here in this reality. Bryce DeWitt. So you are limiting your mind? Ayn Rand. I only have a limited amount of time here on Earth, so it doesn't concern me to speculate on things that are a waste of time thinking about. Bryce DeWitt. Have you heard about my many worlds theory? Ayn Rand. No, that doesn't interest me in the slightest, since there is only one world, and that's the one I'm living in. If you want to waste your time in some kind of fantasy land, that's your problem. Hugh Everett jumps in. Hey, you don't have to be so mean to my friend. I kind of like his ideas. Ayn Rand. I'm not being mean. I'm just stating facts. You guys seem pretty smart. Why don't you do something useful with your lives? Hugh Everett. You're right, Miss Rand. I really respect your opinion, so I think I'm going to give up on this idea of a many worlds theory and just get a boring job in business. Ayn Rand. Good boy. Bryce DeWitt. Hugh, what are you doing? You're going to give up on life, on your life's work, after all the progress we have made? Hugh Everett. What progress? Nobody is going to take us seriously. They think this is all a bunch of bullshit. I'm out. Mark Magna jumps in. What does all this have to do with the mind? Ayn Rand. You're right, Mark. None of this is relevant to the mind. To answer your question, the mind is simply your most important asset. It is through your reason that you are able to perceive the world and make your life better and productive. Mark Magna. Is the mind who I am then? Ayn Rand. Yes, obviously. Alan Watts jumps in. I don't believe that, Mark. I believe your soul is your real essence, and this doesn't require the mind. Remember, the mind is only another limited tool within an infinite universe. Ayn Rand. Yes, that may be true, Alan, that the mind is limited, but again, it is our most important tool. Mark Magna. I tend to agree with Ayn on this one. How could it be any other way? If I don't use my mind to experience the universe, how else could I? Alan Watts. If you follow the path of the Tao and the Zen, you will come to realize that your mind is unlimited and one with the universe. Once that happens, you will have no need for a limited mind. You will be unlimited. That sounds good too, Alan. But can I really become unlimited? Alan Watts. Yes, if you believe you can. And that was the first chapter. So that's an introduction to the third book, the Ontology Dialogues, and it's really been fun and awesome again going through this. This is my glass bead game, and I get to become all of these characters, so it really is just this perfect type of existence that I get to experience going through this process and becoming these other characters.